What I got to push back at about this schedule being so thin in the United States, because the only great card left on the year is the Riyadh card, November 22nd, with Benavidez and Norman and Abdullah and all those guys. Well, the problem with it, we all love that Duran and Virgil look on their way to fighting sooner than later, right? But it's not being built up properly. If they were to fight tomorrow, it would be for an interim belt, right?
Let me pause real quick.
Yeah.
What's his name? The Cuban kid and
Tejas, who just lost his belt.
No. I'm sorry. The gold medalist that
Andy Cruz.
Andy Cruz, yes. Would you say that fight between Andy Cruz and
Murataya?
No. Damn, I'm sorry, I'm losing my Davis. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Would you say that fight's being built up the way that it's supposed to be? Like, even though, like, there hasn't been...
Andy and Keyshawn?
Yes. Even though there hasn't been... You know, when you say, like, building it correctly, there has to be... This guy's getting in the ring with somebody. We know it's not getting in the ring with Victor Ortiz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we still are narrating and talking about this fight possibly happening, when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, well, my thing is... They're not kids anymore. We've been talking about this fight since they were welterweights in their early to mid-20s.
Yeah.
They're both almost 30 now.
Yeah.
And all that would be on the line is an interim WBC belt, not even the full belt.
Yeah.
And what should be going on is it's a microcosm of everything. I feel like the rest of the schedule is partly barren because of the business practices of Turkey and eventually who he's partnering with, TKO, to go really journalism on everybody. Back in the early 1900s, there was the muckrakers. Ida Tarbell wrote about John D. Rockefeller and his kind of his monopolization business practices, and you drive out all competition to assume your monopoly. And either intentionally or unintentionally, you're seeing that happen in boxing. All fighters want to get the big Turkey al-Sheikh bag. All the promoters, from Eddie, who's just gotten in bed with him further, Aram, who did business with him, right? Everybody, now that's starting to cost them doing business, because now their long-term foundations are shaky. And if you don't hitch your wagon to him, your fighter isn't really going to want to fight, because they don't want to fight for whatever you're paying. They want to fight for him and what he's paying him. And these private businesses in boxing in America can't compete with that oil fund. So you see the schedule a little thin, and with all competition driven out, that's when they're going to be able to. But they go ahead.
And the interesting thing about that, and I hate to pat myself on the back, but I've been saying for a long time that it's good boxing on TV. Just because there's not a bunch of belts on the line doesn't mean there's good boxing on TV. And I use Eubank and Ben as that very, very good explanation and evidence that there's good boxing on TV, even when there's not the big bag on the line and there's not the big show that's happening. And I'm looking at the schedule right now, and I'm seeing a lot of small fights that His Excellency and TKO may not be interested in. But these are small fights that over here on TV, you looking for something to do on a Thursday night. We got Joshua Pagan getting in the ring with Malik Montgomery.
It's a good fight.
That's fireworks.
Yeah.
That's a good boxing match. Both these guys, I believe, are still undefeated. It's a really good boxing match. You don't have to dig for it. It'd be different if I was really reaching and I'm telling you got to dig for something. I mean, I'm telling
you got to dig for JJ Pagan and Malik on Thursday on DAZN. You do got to dig. It ain't just there.
It ain't?
But it's a good fight.
It ain't just there? Where is it? It's on DAZN.
Is it? Yeah,
it's on DAZN.
You got to access the app. $30, $40 a month.
My point,
no, right? Is that there's some good fights still going on.
Yeah, and pretty much what we wanted to talk about today with you all is just simply that, we just finished a humongous boxing match, and it really did deliver. Did you feel like it delivered?
Yeah, especially on a technical level.
Yeah,
they fought at a very high.
I just thought that was fantastic
level of craft. Yeah,
that was fantastic for me from a standpoint of the X's and O's and the performance. I thought that was magnificent for boxing. And when nights like that have happened, everybody like kind of like, all right, well, when's the next big one coming? No. We still got some good boxing happening. We don't have TKO and Riot connected to these fights, but there's still a lot to be watched on TV.
Well, here's my pushback to it is this. It's more of the same going on to finish the year that created the environment for all these promoters to really be up shit's creek soon potentially and get driven out of business ultimately, or have to hitch their business to the people about to potentially take it over. Mm-hmm. And they deserve it because here's what I mean about Ortiz and Ennis not being built up properly. Ortiz and Lubin, good fight, right? Good fight. And then Lima and Boots, underwhelming for a first step up. I give credit to Devin Haney. In his first fight as a full-fledged 147, he is fighting the best welterweight in the division at Brian Norman. He had a catchweight fight against Ramirez, so he tiptoed to 47, but ultimately in his first full fight at 47, he's fighting the man. And Ennis ain't doing that in his first fight, and here's why. It's more of the same from the promoters. Thurman and Fundora, instead of Thurman and Fundora and Ortiz and Lubin, it should be Ortiz and Fundora for the full-fledged WBC belt. Why isn't the WBC making that happen, mandating that happen, telling both parties, hey, PBC, hey, Golden Boy, we're not running a shit show here. Who's our champion? We're mandating this. And but the WBC doesn't do that? Okay, WBC, that's why you might be on your way to irrelevancy if they take over. Golden Boy and Matchroom and PBC, you don't want to match this round robin. You don't want to do, well, I mean, I don't know who has the rights to Bakram, but you don't want to.
Where the hell is Bakram?
Right, where'd he go? Since that's part of my point. And the point is, Ortiz and Boots, if they are who a lot of us feel they are talent-wise, and they are who they say they are, then they should, by the time they fight, it should be number 1, number 2 for all the marbles. Ortiz should be, or Boots should be able to take out a Bakram. And then the other guy, you take out Fundora, I take out Bakram. And when we're done putting in our work, instead, it feels like we're going to get it, which is great. Definitely not kicking it out of bed. She's a bad bitch.